Neil Druckmann, you had one job. Just one job. How did you mess it up? Hey guys, so before I start off anything, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that this review is going to be a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't played the game, if you don't want to know what happens, if you don't want me ruining it for you, then you better stop this video right now because I'm going to be talking a lot about everything. Yeah. So, The Last of Us 2 is an action, adventure, survival horror-esque kind of game. It's a third-person shooter. It was developed by Naughty Dog and it was published by Sony Interactive for our entertainment, apparently. So obviously, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you played the first game, and as you know, this is a sequel to that game. And this game is set 5 years after the first game, and it starts off in Jackson where Ellie and Joel are, and it begins with Joel telling his brother Tommy what he did in the hospital with the Fireflies to get Ellie out. So if you remember from the first game, you know, Joel finds out that Ellie's going to be killed in order to get the cure, because that's the only way to get the tumor, I guess, out of her brain. And he finds out that she's going to be killed. He's not happy about it, so he goes off to, I suppose, save her, and in the process he murders everybody. And then he lies to her about it, so she doesn't know. He just makes it seem like, you know, there wasn't a cure. So in the second game, I guess he's letting out his guilt to his brother, who obviously is now aware of the fact that Joel murdered people to save Ellie. And that's pretty much where The Last of Us 2 starts off from. And the story basically is a revenge story, and it revolves around events that happen not long after this beginning scene that lead to Ellie going on this revenge quest to avenge the death of someone that she loves. Now, like I said, this is a spoiler-filled review, so I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that she is going to avenge Joel, who the developers of this game thought, let's just kill him right at the beginning of the game because that's great. You know, kill a beloved character. That's just going to win the fans over. The Last of Us 2 is not just Ellie's story, though. It also revolves around Abby, Joel's murderer, who you get to play for the pretty much most of the entirety of the second half of the game to gain perspective on why she did what she did and some other random crap that nobody really cares about, at least I don't think, because it's not really relevant to the story that we thought we were being told. But anyway, you follow Abby through the second half of the game to find out why she did what she did, what led her to them, and what followed after. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So in The Last of Us 2, you play as two characters. You play as Ellie and you play as Abby. And at some point you have these flashbacks where you kind of get to play... Actually, no. I think, yeah, you play as Ellie and Abby. Okay, so now that I'm done telling you the plot in my own convoluted way, I'm going to tell you that I personally... I didn't like this game. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I loved the first game. I have played it several times. Fantastic story. Just a great all-round post-apocalyptic type game. It was fantastic. And I feel like what made The Last of Us so fantastic was the story, the characters, the pacing. It was all done to perfection. I give that game a 10 out of 10. But we're not reviewing the first game. I'm reviewing the second game. And this game pales in comparison to the first game. And for most of it, I think it just kind of poops on the first game. So yeah, I'm just going to get that right out of the gate and let you know that for me, this game was not the one. I will tell you why. But first off, let's start with the things that I did like about this game, because it's not all bad. So The Last of Us 2 is visually stunning. It is incredible. The amount of detail that went into this game is mind-blowing. Probably the best visual game I have seen on the PS4. It is incredible, and you can see where a lot of the money went into making sure that you got a real life experience. It was perfection. So that was one thing that I thought, yeah, they upgraded in this game. It is just beautiful to look at. So the gameplay for this was fantastic. It was just smooth sailing. There were no glitches. The transition from cutscenes to gameplay was flawless. Like, sometimes I couldn't even tell, like, are we still in a cutscene? Have we gone back to the game? Because that's how smooth the transition was. So that was beautifully done, and I love that aspect, because like in a game like Days Gone, for instance, they had these cuts where the screen went to black and it just kind of jarred you and threw you out of the game. So this was really, really done well, beautiful. And in terms of gameplay and action scenes, it was a lot of fun. I mean, you're doing a lot of violent things, but obviously it's a game, so you know, and the subject matter of the game is revenge, so I suppose you could expect to be murdering loads of people. So that's what, you know, the game was about. But you know, it was done really well. You had a lot more to do in this game. It was more open world-esque. So there was more to explore, there was more to find, there was more to do, you know, and it was all done really well. So it was fun to, you know, discover stuff, to fight the infected. It was just really, really brilliantly done. And I feel like they upgraded in terms of what you were doing in the first game. Not too much that it was completely different, but, you know, they set another standard in terms of violent gameplay, let's just put it that way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like a lover of violence in the real world, but as a gamer, you know, it can be fun. Let's not pretend. So yeah, that's the story in this game was garbage. Now that sounds harsh, but I will tell you why I feel the way that I feel. First of all, I didn't like the fact that Joel got killed off so early on in the game, and the manner in which they had him killed was, for me, a cop-out, because in the first game, Joel was very, very sensitive to danger. He was very aware of everything that was happening around him, and this game just had him just walk right into the lion's den, no suspicion whatsoever, and then they just took his life easy. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know how quickly into the beginning of the game he gets killed, but let's say about 30 minutes in, maybe earlier than that, he gets taken out. And the manner in which he's taken out, he doesn't even put up a fight, nothing. They just take him out. And I found that very disrespectful to the character. And because Joel was a beloved character, for me, that was just a no. Don't get me wrong, from the trailers, I knew that Joel was going to die, and that's fine. If that's the story that you're going to tell, I get it. But I feel like they should have given us a little bit more to work with in terms of playing as Joel, so you get to at least enjoy playing him and give him, like, you know, a more heroic send-off, because he just died like a little, you know, I'm not going to use the word, but you get what I mean. And it was disappointing. So that is, for me, one of the things right off the bat that I just did not like. It was just disrespectful. I hated it. I wish they had done it different, but it is what it is. Another thing that I didn't like was the pacing of this game. The first half of the game, you get to play as Ellie, and she's on a mission trying to find all these people that were responsible. Well, because there was a group of people that, you know, were together when Joel was killed. It wasn't just Abby on her own. It was like a whole group of people from another camp or whatever. And I can't remember what they were called now. I don't really think that I care. Oh yeah, they were called the Wolves. And yeah, so a little faction of their group came in, and they, you know, did this revenge mission to get rid of Joel. And Ellie caught like the very end of it where Joel is actually officially killed. So she sees all the people that are responsible, and she's on a mission to exact revenge on all the people that were present and responsible for Joel's death. And it just goes on and on and on. And she still does not get to her main target, who's Abby, who was the person that actually just swung the golf club, whacked Joel in the face, and dealt the death blow. So she finds all these people and she's like, where's Abby, where's Abby? And she tortures people and she makes her way to Abby, and she gets to the last set of people who she then murders. She murders a pregnant woman and then decides that, you know, this is not worth it. She realizes that, you know, she probably doesn't want to kill anymore. So she gives up on her mission and she goes back, and they're ready to go home. And I just felt like that just went on forever. That could have been cut into a lot less than what it was. I felt like the pacing was weird. At some point I'm thinking like, okay, what is going on? Like, can you just get to the point? And I know that it's a game and you can't just, you know, start off and then just get to the end of your mission, but some of the missions were just going on for too long, and I just wanted it to stop. I just wanted her to find the people, because I'm like, she's not finding anyone. It's just us playing, walking around, looking at beautiful post-apocalyptic scenery, but we're not actually doing anything to further the story. And that just, it annoyed me. I didn't like it. But, you know, in the second half of the game, Abby shows up, and then you start to play as Abby to gain perspective on why she did what she did, and it just kind of goes off into something else, and it feels like the developers were trying to force us to like this person that we just watched torture Joel to death. And I found that disgusting. I didn't like it. I didn't like playing as this character because I didn't like her. She was not likable in any way. It was just weird, you know, whatever it was that they were trying to do. And it went on for so long. You play Abby for the second half of the game, so it's almost like, well, not almost, she's a lead in this game, which was really, really frustrating for me because I didn't buy The Last of Us 2 to play as Joel's murderer. I would have been cool with 2 to 3 hours of playing as Abby, just to gain some insight into who she was, why she did what she did. It didn't have to go on for like 12, 13 hours of playing as Abby and her coming across some random people that she had to help just so that you can try and create an emotional attachment to her, because at the end of the day, she killed one of our favorite characters. We are not going to like her, and trying to force her down our throats, it's just, I found myself at one point just playing it because I wanted to see the outcome, but personally I was ready to just kind of chuck it. I didn't want to play anymore, and a game shouldn't do that, especially The Last of Us. It was just strange. It was just a strange choice of gaming. Yeah, so that really annoyed me. I did not like that at all. Probably for me, the worst part of that game was having to play as Abby for so long, especially because at the end of it, I still didn't like her. I still didn't care about her. What's worse is that when you come towards the end of her playthrough, I guess, you have to play as Abby trying to kill Ellie, and I'm thinking, what? Why? So yeah, it was just, no. It's a no. No. Another thing I didn't like, which I felt had to be mentioned, is that Abby gets all the good weapons and Ellie got all the crap weapons. It was annoying because I'm thinking Abby's already really strong. Ellie is a lot less strong, physically I mean. And Abby is the murderer of Joel, but you're giving her all the good stuff and you're giving Ellie all the crap stuff. And I'm like, why? They're just things in this game. It's just like, okay, yeah, you know, just love Abby and hate Ellie because you know, I don't know, Abby is justified in what she did, so I'm going to make you all love this girl. She just got all the goods, and Ellie is left with the cheap crap stuff, and it's just, I know I'm getting frustrated, but that's how I felt when I was playing the game. And my questions were always, why? Why does she have this? Why does she get that? Ellie gets like a good game towards the... So I can't talk. Ellie gets a good gun towards the end of the game. I'm like, okay, well, this is pointless now because, you know, she should have had this right from the beginning. But no, you know, we'll give Abby all the good stuff right at the beginning of her gameplay, and we'll give Ellie, you know, all the rubbish. You know, Joel's pea shooter and some other stupid gun and stupid bow and arrow that she doesn't get for, like, I don't know. You don't get the bow and arrow until like towards the end of her playthrough, maybe. I just don't get it. Like, at least if you're gonna make us play as these characters, then make it balanced. It's bad enough that we've already watched Abby kill Joel, but now you're giving her all the good stuff and giving Ellie all the rubbish stuff. And is that supposed to inspire us, the players, to like this character? No. So this was supposed to be a short review, and I feel like I've gone off into something. Maybe by the time I edit this video it'll be shorter, but I don't want to go on too much and just kind of lose sight of why I started this review in the first place. So just quickly, I'm going to say that even though The Last of Us had a lot to offer in terms of gameplay, in terms of visuals, and in terms of the potential to create fantastic characters, it did not do that for me. It did not satisfy, you know, whatever it was that I was looking for in terms of enjoyment. It did not follow off from the first game in a manner that, you know, appealed to me. I didn't enjoy this. I found it somewhat, it felt like torture at some point, because I was being forced to play someone I really didn't want to play, and I was being forced to like someone that I was really never gonna like. And so it just, for me, this game just lost the magic that the first one had. And even though I understand what they were trying to do, for me it didn't work. And I'm sure for some people it probably will, but for me this game is a no. And I would probably give The Last of Us a 6 out of 10. And I feel like I'm being generous, but I don't want to kind of be horrible because I didn't like the story, because it's a very, very well made game, but it's just not for me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, watch other videos of me reviewing stuff, and I will see you all soon. Thank you guys. Bye.